that you're doing it on purpose. Sing like a sing-along key. Talk to the girl that intimidates you. Pretend that you're brilliant and charming. I said pretend that you're brilliant and charming. Hey!
Yes, everybody, welcome to your Saturday night, or wherever you're watching this show. It might not be Saturday night if you're watching us on YouTube, but welcome to the show. So glad that you're tuned in. I'm here. Bo Counts is here, as always, over there at the podium. How's it going, Bo?
It's going well. It's another Saturday. I love it.
Man, I know. I do love weekends, and kind of summer weekends, nice weather weekends. There's nothing like it, really.
No, it's a list of things to do. There's farmers markets. There's friends calling you for lunch. There's cocktails to drink at the evening. There's birds chirping.
All of it happening all summer long, and we're having a lot of fun on Later with Jason Suel all summer long. Let me tell you what we got coming your way tonight. We're going to be visiting with Nikita Reed from Arkansas Soul. She's going to kind of fill us in on their initiatives and what they have planned for the summer. We've also got the very own director of our show, Dan Robinson, is going to be joining us today to talk about everything happening with Fayetteville Public Television. And then guess what? Chef Erin Rowe is coming back on the show. She's with us today. She's going to be, I think, making some pickles, which is like one of the most southern summer things you can do, I feel like, is pickling vegetables. I don't know, Bo, what do you think?
Well, it's also not as hard as everybody thinks. Most people think, oh, pickles, that must take forever and only nanas know how to do it. No, we're going to teach you how to do it today.
That's right, we are. Because nanas had to learn from somebody.
Exactly.
Right? So we got to learn too.
Their meemaws taught the nanas, and the nanas are teaching us.
You know, that's a whole other segment, is everybody's name for kind of their grandmother. I feel like everybody's got
Mama, Mimi, Mama, Nana. Yeah. They're all out there.
They're all out there, that's right. And they're all in here. Not all the nanas, but all the content that we talked about is coming to you. So stick around. It's all happening later.
Sam's Furniture doing good. Shine a spotlight on your neighborhood.
Well, we've returned to Sam's Furniture. We're joined by Nick Robbins, Returning Home, nonprofit based right here in Springdale. Tell us about the work that you do in our community.
Absolutely. Returning Home is a place for men and women that are coming out of incarceration that have a past that is hindering the future they desire. We'd love to come alongside them in that process.
And you were also talking about how you have a facility where they can stay, but also you provide services if they're not just staying at the facility. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, we have a food pantry, clothing closet. We help people get jobs. We have classes, but then we also have a residential component for men pulling directly from prison. They're looking to stay for 90 days.
Well, if people are watching right now, they want to learn more about the organization, how can they do that?
Yeah, you can go to our website. It's www.returninghomenwa.com.
Thank you so much. Bo, what's going on?
I think I'm going to return home with this lamp.
This is not what that means. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. So glad that you are joining us. And right now we have the amazing Nikita Reed joining us with a special guest, David, who may or may not be joining in on the conversation as well. Thank you both so much for taking the time to visit with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so you are with something called Arkansas Soul, right? So for our viewing audience, can you kind of fill us in on what is Arkansas Soul?
Yeah, so Arkansas Soul is a digital media platform. We are geared toward BIPOC audiences in the natural state. And if I could just launch into our mission statement. So we exist so we can amplify Black and Brown voices and stories through accessible BIPOC-centered media and outreach. And BIPOC stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color.
Yeah. When did you get your start? When did Arkansas Soul become a thing?
Back in 2018, I was approached to help with an initiative to increase Black and Brown tourism to Arkansas. And I was like, whoa, this is going to be pretty challenging because I myself and I was ashamed of this. I had such a limited knowledge of the Black experience in Arkansas. And I soon found out that I wasn't alone in that. When you Google, back then anyway, when you Google tourism Arkansas, people hate when I say this, but you often see white people in nature.
Yeah.
And I was like, this can't be the BIPOC experience. Totally, you know, so that's essentially how Arkansas Soul was born. We wanted to not only have media representation and nurture and further the careers of Black and brown journalists and media creators, but we also wanted to disrupt some of those existing narratives about people of color in the natural state. And we wanted to boost these stories into the mainstream. You know, this was deeper and bigger than tourism at this point.
Nikita, what else does Arkansas Soul do in terms of being a digital media platform? What else do you offer?
One of our big projects coming up that we actually got support funds from the Cash Bridge Fund is called Heart and Soul. It's a web series that we're going to launch in late May, early June, that's going to feature Black artists from Northwest Arkansas who are going to show audiences how they use their craft or creative expression to address things like grief, trauma, pain, shame, self-esteem, and confidence, especially for Black audiences who live in Northwest Arkansas on a day-to-day basis. It can be hard living and thriving in a predominantly white space. And we want to bring and highlight these Black artists and say, you can sing, you can draw, you can use all of these different creative expressions to cope, you know? So that's coming up. We're really excited about it. We also have Arkansas Flavors, which I hired a crew, and they're going to be traveling around the state visiting minority owned restaurants.
Oh, come on. Now that sounds something, I'm all about that. Yes.
And they're excited because they want to eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be going around the state and touring and you know, exploring some of the culinary treasures in our culture and our history here in Arkansas from BIPOC people. And also, we're excited to actually join up with Arkansas Cinema Society and Thrive in Helena. We're going to offer a Helena film lab for minority high school students in Helena, Arkansas. So that's going to be really exciting. And Northwest Arkansas, we're going to launch a BIPOC media conference in the fall.
Oh, great.
So we're bringing BIPOC media professionals, writers, journalists, videographers. We're inviting them out here so they can network with one another. We can do workshops and we can talk about some real stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I love that.
It's a lot of different stuff coming up.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, you're talking about that Helena, West Helena area. A lot of people might not realize that that's kind of the home and birthplace of the blues, right here in Arkansas. So that's kind of exciting that you're headed over that way. And it sounds like Arkansas Soul is bigger than just Northwest Arkansas.
It is.
My co-host, Bo, he's big on food. Bo, what did you think when we were just talking about how we're traveling around to these kind of minority-owned restaurants throughout the state?
Oh, I mean, I've already done my own culinary tours. I grew up from the South, man, and when I moved to Northwest Arkansas, I had the same experience as she did. It's like, Arkansas, I don't know. It's like, is it Southern or does it try to pretend to be Northern? Because Northwest Arkansas tries to do, it's such a weird place. But then I quickly realized that there is a lot of soul in the state and there's a lot of good food in the state and a lot of fun things to do that if you just kind of start peeling back those layers, it really starts to unveil itself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Nikita, so you're talking about all of these things and these digital media outlets and things that you have upcoming. What's the best way for folks to stay in touch with everything that Arkansas Soul has going on?
Yeah, so visit the website. We have a space where you can give us your email, and we're not going to sell it, we promise. But with that email, you're staying involved with and keeping up to date on all of our upcoming events. We have a couple of promotions we got in the pipeline. You could get a bi-weekly news update, from BIPOC news and content from around the state. And of course, we just want them to visit, send us your eyeballs, your traffic, share the content. That's the best way to get involved and support us.
Yeah, get the word out for sure. Nikita, thanks so much for joining us, kind of filling us in on everything you have going on with Arkansas. So it's exciting to hear that this initiative is kind of growing and really getting a foothold in not just Northwest Arkansas, but in the entire state. So that's awesome. Thanks for taking the time to visit with us. And wherever David is, you tell him we said hi and bye. I know he was kind of in and out. I wish we could have seen his face, but maybe next time we get you both on again. Yeah, for
Thank
sure.
You.
Yes, thanks for joining us. And folks, stick around. We do have more happening later. Hey everybody, welcome back. So glad that you're tuned in, and we're doubling up on guests tonight. We've had an interview with the one and only Dan Robinson coming to us from the FPTV podcast booth. Hey Dan, great to see you.
Hey Jason, it's good to see you.
I'm so glad you're joining us on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And here we are on Zoom, but I don't know about you, but I'm getting Zoom fatigue. Are you getting Zoom fatigue?
I do. Bo, how about you? I have it, yes.
I'm constantly experiencing Zoom fatigue.
Yeah, what can we do about that, man?
Let's see what we can do here.
What just happened?
And here we are in person.
Wow, is this the kind of technology you have at FPTV?
Absolutely. And we're just so excited to be able to be actually in person again.
I'm so excited to actually have a human being sitting next to me right here. Bo, does this feel weird? What do you think about this?
I mean, yeah, considering I'm 20 feet to your left, of course it feels weird. I want to be in the chair.
I know.
Yeah.
How did Dan get to be this close in proximity and you're still separate from me?
He is the director of the show.
That's it. That's the thing right there. Yes. Dan, so just for our viewers who might not be familiar with FPTV, can you kind of fill us in on what you do here?
Absolutely. So Fayetteville Public Television is a great resource here in Fayetteville that offers classes in video production, equipment to produce the video, and then we air those videos on Cox 218, ATTU Verse 99, Ozarks Go 44, and YouTube Live.
Man, you got it all over the place.
4 streams.
You know, and I would say for this show, this is where we got our start. You know, this is where it all kind of came together, and you've got several other shows here happening
Absolutely.
that are in production all the time.
Yep.
What about those classes? What specifically do you offer in terms of classes?
Yeah, so if someone wants to learn about video production, we've created a new content creation class that is really the intro into all things production. So whatever kind of video you want to produce, this kind of lays out the steps for you in a very nice way before you even take a camera class or an editing class. And then we offer camera classes and editing classes and studio classes. So whatever you need to be able to produce a video, we can help you make it happen.
That's why I love what you do here. And you also mentioned, and I know you have like the opportunity to check out some equipment. Is that still happening? I know it's kind of a weird time transitioning, pandemic, everything.
We are able to welcome people back into the television center for in-person classes and for studio productions. We're still doing our classes hybrid. We're going to have virtual options so that because we have a limited capacity, people would be able to come in person or tune into a Zoom of that same class. So we're keeping some of the great things from the pandemic era, but at the same time, we are happy to be getting back closer to normalcy.
Yeah, for sure. And you have so much going on too. All the amenities to be able to create your own show or short film, whatever you're into. What about costs? Is there a cost associated with any of these things?
So FPTV is free to residents of Fayetteville, employees of the city of Fayetteville, students of Fayetteville-based nonprofit, educational institutions, and employees of Fayetteville-based nonprofits.
Wow.
Free for those people. And then, thanks to the generosity of the city, we're also able to serve people from Washington and Benton County for a $50 annual membership fee.
You know what? So free to Fayetteville, $50 for the rest of the region, which sounds like a great deal
For
to be
the
honest
year.
with you. I know, for a whole year.
It's less than Netflix.
It isn't it? Less than Netflix. Bo, here's a question for you, man. If you were going to do anything other than this show at FPTV right now, what tickles your fancy? Is it podcasts? I know you've been doing like your own shows and podcasting for years. Is it audio work? What would you want to get into?
Well, one of the cool things here is they have access to so much equipment that is a little bit cost prohibitive for average people getting into it. I mean, I've got my own studio at this point, but if you were to rewind back 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh my gosh, there's a whisper room here, there's cameras to check out here, there's green screens here, there's all this stuff here that would be very, very expensive if you were going to go, hey man, I got a podcast about drinking beer with my homies. You want to go spend $4,000? Like, no, you could come here and try out and learn that you're only going to do it once or twice before you give up. So yeah, it's a great resource.
That was very motivational, though.
No, the point is like, if big advice to anybody that wants to start any content is plan out more than one episode. Plan out 10 episodes. Plan out a commitment of doing the stuff every week, because creating things, doing what Jason and I do, we've been doing this every week for how many years?
Yeah.
And even when we don't know what we're going to do, we come up in here and we go, well, let's do something.
Right.
And you have to make it a job, even if you're not getting paid, which we don't.
Yes.
So.
And we teach you how to do that in the content creation class.
Yeah, Dan, that's great to hear. Anything else you want our viewers to know about FPTV?
Well, we're very happy happy that we offer all of our classes in both English and Spanish.
There you go.
So we have Spanish class materials. We were really happy to be able to cross that threshold and be able to open up what we're able to do for the community.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. And then our open mic. You know, we have this place set up and ready to go every Tuesday from 5 to 6, every Thursday from 11 to noon. We're ready to go. Any community member can come in and have 5 minutes to share whatever information they have. Musicians, politicians, community leaders, artists, come in and tell us about what you're doing. That's open mic on FPTV.
Man, and with the bilingual approach, you're casting a wider net, you're giving accessibility to our community, and you're opening it up to the community to come in and check things out. That's what I'm hearing you say, and that's awesome. What if people want to get involved? What's the website? What's the best way they can do that?
Yes, so visit our website at faypublic.tv, and then they can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube. That's it. You heard it here first from Dan Robinson, Dan the man, Dan himself joining us, the director of our show. Thank you for sitting in the guest chair and being our first in-studio guest in a very long time, Dan. Exciting to have you here. Exciting to be back.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, now get back behind the camera.
Yeah,
Right,
let's do
right,
some
right.
more
Okay.
stuff. Stay with us. Dan's got to get back behind the camera. We got more happening later.
And cut.
Welcome back, everybody. Chef Erin Rowe is joining us, coming to us from her home kitchen. Hey, Erin, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Bo. Thanks so much for having me. It's really fun to have you this summer.
Yeah, for sure. So it's summer. It's June time now.
Yeah.
And
It's June time.
June time. That's right.
Who knew? Makes the weather amazing. Such a sunny, hot day today.
Yeah, for sure. So what are we doing? I think you said something about pickles, right?
Oh, yeah. We're totally pickling it up today. So this is a 48-hour pickle recipe from my book, An Ozark Culinary History.
Awesome. Well, let's get to it, Erin. Don't let us hold you
Let's
up.
do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I've got an onion. Now, I'm just going to make 2 mason jars, like smaller mason jars of pickles for you guys here today. But you could double, triple, quadruple this recipe. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to take, I'm going to cut a quarter of this onion up and dice it. And then I'm going to cut in the rounds. And then I'll just kind of show you what happens. It's, the cool thing about this is that you can make everything completely in the jar, right? You don't have to have a lot of bowls handy to you don't have to get a lot of things dirty.
Right.
I guess is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Not a lot of cleanup afterwards.
I'm
Yeah.
quickly dicing up this onion. I'm gonna put half of it in one jar. Sorry for the noise. Getting a little feisty over here.
Are those
Wooden
just
cutting board now.
Are those just normal mason jars that you can pick up, at your local mason jar store?
Yes, at your local mason jar store, whichever one you prefer. That we've got a few here in town.
Yeah, believe it or not, mason jars were invented for pickling and canning and not for southern weddings.
Oh.
Yes, they're not for moonshine cocktails always, but somehow that happens, So I basically have mustard seed, celery seed, turmeric, diced onion going in here. The turmeric is going to add a lot of flavor and color, guys. It's kind of orange, so make sure when you're using this, especially with kids or whatever, if you're wearing a white shirt, don't wipe your hands.
Oh, yeah.
This stuff will stain you for good. I mean, they used to use it for dyeing clothing. All right. We're going to use a decent amount of salt, probably about half a teaspoon. And then I'm going to use sugar because I find that sugar really brightens up these pickles. Otherwise, it's really intense with the white distilled vinegar.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use about a quarter cup, which I know it looks like a lot, but anyways.
So is this something people would call like a sweet and sour pickles or bread and butter pickles? Is that what you're going for? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That it would be all of those things. So sweet and sour, bread and butter. A lot of people like a really sour dill. So if you want something more sour, Jason, you could just use less sugar and use more of that white distilled vinegar.
I have done a little bit of pickling. So one of the things that I think I learned when I did this is that for some reason I thought you would put the cucumbers in that and somehow magically they would shrink up. But they didn't really do that, right? They kind of stay the same size. So just tip at home, you can fill that jar up all the way to the top, right?
They only shrink up under intense cold water.
That's right. If you take a dip in the swimming pool.
In here, getting as many as I can, really in every nook and cranny. I have white distilled vinegar, which is inexpensive. You can get it at most of your grocery stores.
Yeah, you can pick it up right next to the mason jars. At the mason jar store, they usually have distilled white vinegar. Yeah.
Exactly. And you go up near to the top, right, guys? And, you fill in your vinegar. You put the lid on it. And this is the best part. Shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Come on,
hey, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, love
Yeah,
it.
sing any more of it, and
Yeah,
then we're gonna
it's a
hit
perfect
copyright
summer
infringement.
song to play while you're making your pickles. You know, who doesn't love a little Outcast from early 2000s?
Exactly. That's it's usually on repeat at my house when I'm making pickles for sure.
Man, I'm coming over to your house, yo.
Yeah, we have a
So as
party.
you can see, picking up that nice color from the turmeric. You can see the distribution of the seeds. What I'm going to do with this jar, guys, is I'm just going to set it on the counter for 24 hours, and then I'll put it in the fridge for 24 hours, and after that, they're ready to eat.
Aaron, before
That's it.
we let you go, we got to talk about that book again. You were telling me your book, Ozark Culinary History. It's available all over the place, right? Give us those details again.
Totally all over the place. Amazon is available for anyone. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram under Aaron Rowe or Chef Aaron Rowe. I run a culinary tour, so you can find me under that, under Ozark Culinary Tours.
Aaron, thanks so much again for joining and kind of like demystifying the difficulty in making pickles, which it turns out pretty simple after all.
Pretty simple after all, absolutely. And it's really great to see you guys.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. Can't wait till we can have you in the studio again. You can join us. We can do some more fun. Folks at home, yes, folks at home, stick around. We do have more happening later. That's our show, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in Later with Jason Suel. And remember, of course, you can find us out there on your social media platforms. You can even catch all of our old content, our previous content on the show. It's all available on our YouTube channel. And then you can send us an email if you'd like at laterwithjasonsuel.com. Maybe you got an idea for the show or you want to be a guest. Go ahead and shoot us an email. We'll make sure to follow up with you. But before any of that happens, let's make sure that we thank all of our guests from tonight's show, including the one and only Nikita Reed from Arkansas Soul.
And of course, we had those awesome pickles from Chef Aaron Rowe.
Can't beat it. FPTV's own Dan Robinson joined us in studio. It was nice to have a guest back on set with us. And you know what? Have a great weekend. That's our show, everybody. See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Yes.